Isabel Altamirano is an associate professor of political science. Her research interrogates the relationships between gender, indigeneity, and the economy, and analyzes how different systems of oppression are produced and contested. Her talk is titled Indigenous Women, Communities, and Responsibility. Isabel.
As an Indigenous feminist, I am interested in how Indigenous self-determined futures look like when we center Indigenous women's experiences and voices in our analysis. As Michael was mentioning before, I look at how gendered economy and colonialism combine to produce processes by which privileges and penalties are produced, reproduced, and resisted. While a lot of scholars have accounted for how these penalties and privileges are accorded among social groups, a focus on macro politics had the effect of concealing how these penalties and privileges are unevenly distributed within Indigenous communities, shaping how indigeneity is lived, embodied, and materialized in different locations. Masculinist interpretations of what constitutes Indigenous politics have torn away from everyday violence, gender discrimination, and unequal access to resources, and advanced understandings of struggles that are concerned with larger colonial structures. However, land-related practices and experiential knowledge which inform Indigenous relationships are deeply gendered. The microscale of the body and household and the macro scales of the state and economy are interdependent and co-productive, demanding that in our research, we look at these directions and we pay attention to how Indigenous women and Two-Spirit people have long demanded social transformation within our homes, communities, and society at large. Indigenous struggles and resistance cannot be exclusively directed against colonial structures, but also to other systems of oppression. This also means that to envision different self-determined futures, we have to decolonize our relationships with each other. As Indigenous legal scholars have pointed out, legal systems connect territories with our kinship relations, our homes and well-being. Monteur Angus explains, Indigenous self-determination is about relationships. Communities cannot be self-governing until members of those communities are well and living in a responsible way too. Engaging with experiences of Indigenous women and the work and working with communities demands a lot from academics, demand a lot of the time, a lot of our effort, demands that I listen and learn from those that I work with and for, that I foreground Indigenous women as knowers who experience fear, love, and rage. This type of work also demands personal responsibility to the people for whom my research is imagined and undertaken. Imagining new ways of thinking about Indigenous futures and seeking to realize different modes of alliances is not a temporally short effort, but a long-term commitment to change and to decolonize knowledge. In sort of working with communities, I invite you to the Indigenous Feminism workshop next week. Thank you.